and Kyle Brandt. So many highlights to go to. An upset last night on Sunday Night Football. But let's kick it off with some breaking news this morning and bring in Ian Rapsheet, our NFL Network insider, to talk Redskins. They've made the decision to move on from head coach Jay Gruden. How can you tell, or what can you tell us about how this went down?
Okay, this was something that even Jay Gruden, no doubt, knew was coming. Essentially, the move that many of us were all waiting for, the Redskins off to an 0-5 start. And, of course, it probably looked worse on the field. They dealt with a ton of things, so many injuries, including to Jordan Reed, one of their key players on offense. Trent Williams, their starting left tackle and a star at his position, is holding out, never got to play this year. There was a lot wrong with the Washington Redskins, and of course we saw Dwayne Haskins, a first-round pick, with a truncated appearance last week in the second half. Did not go great, ended up being replaced this week. All of this conspired to lead to Jay Gruden being fired as the Washington Redskins head coach. Gruden was at his press conference yesterday post-game, was asked if he is concerned for his job. He essentially said, if the key works, he will keep showing up. The key now, unfortunately for Jay Gruden, no longer works. He is out of a job. I'm told the Redskins have named Bill Callahan, the former Raiders coach, former Nebraska head coach, as their interim, which does a couple things. It allows him to kind of steady the ship and run the team. It also allows them to evaluate Kevin O'Connell, their offensive coordinator, considered a bright young star in this coaching world. He is expected to get consideration for the head coaching job. This allows them to kind of sit back and continue to watch him develop the offense. Either way, a new day in Washington with Jay Gruden officially fired as the Redskins coach.
5 games into his 6th season with the Redskins, an 0-5 start for them for the first time since 2001. Ian Rappaport, don't go anywhere. We're going to be unveiling the layers of this. We, of course, heard from some of the players in the locker room, Chris Thompson among them, who was upset about the questions of job security just yesterday after that 33-7 loss to the Patriots. Ian, thank you so much. Back here, Bill Callahan's the guy.
Bill Callahan's the guy, longtime head coach. It'll be an interim situation. I think Ian's right. He'll be able to assess things. The stadium was all Patriots fans yesterday, right? And like that's the kind of deal where the owner is sitting in his box and he's looking around, but the Sharks have been in the water since that Monday night game against the Bears when it was all Bears fans, and this team cannot seem to get right. And Ian's right. When you lose Jordan Reed and you lose Brendan Sheriff and then Trent Williams doesn't come to camp, like you're already behind the 8 ball. But I look at the other coaches around the league, and Sean McVay was once the offensive coordinator. He's having great success with the Rams. Matt LaFleur was once on the offensive staff. He's having great success with the Packers. And, of course, Kyle Shanahan will be coaching tonight. He was the offensive coordinator once in Washington. They were all under Jay Gruden. Those guys have all gone on to have great success. The Redskins seem to be 7-9, 7-9, and now they're 0-5. Jay Gruden will be all right. He's got enough friends in this league, and his brother is one of them. He's going to be okay. Don't shed any tears for Jay Gruden. But now it's going to be about Haskins and, to Ian's point, Kevin O'Connell, who's the young offensive coordinator. They're going to give a chance to see what he can do with these guys and see if he can get Haskins up to speed.
You know, yesterday against the Patriots was kind of a fitting walk-off for Jay Gruden in a sense. It was sort of a metaphor for his whole time there. There's some excitement, and we're up early, and this could really be something. And then it just fades in the second half, and there's so much Colt McCoy. Like that, when I look at the Jay Gruden regime, I'll think of a lot of Colt McCoy, excitement, disappointment. I like Jay Gruden. Jay Gruden is my favorite Gruden. I like him as a guy. He is one of those guys in the Norv Turner Club, in the Wade Phillips Club. Sometimes guys are just great coordinators. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a lot to be proud of. It's the coordinator club, and I think he'll be one again. Ultimately, this regime was about so many quarterbacks, mostly Colt McCoy. Just disappointment.
Yeah, these conversations are tough to have because they're always so morbid. You know, coach gets fired. And,
you just said shed no tears, though.
Yeah, exactly. And you're right.
6 years as a head coach is a long time.
6 years as a head coach.
Thompson was shedding tears, though, in the locker room.
Sure, they like him.
Yeah, they like him, of course. They had a division title back in 2015, and they lost a wild card. But every big game since then, they pretty much took that L. So as much as I would like to shed a few tears for him, I do feel bad for the family. This is what people don't talk about. I mean, he does have family, and he's going to have to figure out whether they uproot and move somewhere else or they stick where they're at because they've been rooted so well there in Washington. You know, with everything that they had to deal with, Ian touched on it, Trent Williams not being there, the injuries to their pass catchers and skill players. There's guys last year, and it seemed like player after player was going down, and he dealt with a lot. But as I say that, so does every other coach.
Yeah.
You have to win games. So for me, it's tough, but we'll see what happens moving forward. Dwayne Haskins, I believe, at this point needs to be thrown in there. We'll see what this young fella can do.
I think somebody at the table might make the case that he shouldn't be thrown in there for the rest of this season, at least. We'll talk about all of that unraveling. Maybe we'll hear from some of the players for the Redskins all throughout the show right here on Good Morning Football. But we know you are also here for some